Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is, of course, HD Starcraft, and I'm back for Game 3 here in this best of 5 between my Insanity Stardust, the red Protoss player in the top right-hand corner, and in the bottom left-hand corner, of course, his opponent is Hyun, the blue Zerg, and whew, what a set this has been. Very exciting start so far with, it's interesting to watch Stardust and his volatile playstyle against against an established and top-tier Zerg like Hyun. And it's really fun to watch because it's really what this game, what these sets boil down to is Hyun gonna hold off that aggression, and how much damage does he take? If he holds it off well enough, I think he's probably gonna win the game. If he loses, or if he takes too much damage, and as long as Stardust doesn't make any costly mistakes, I think it's very hard for Hyun to actually win, as is evidenced by Jaedong, as is evidenced by all the many Zergs that have fallen to basically what Stardust is. It's the new MC, or the new Huck, if you will. And that's I hesitate to say this is the way you should be playing Protoss if you want to be the best Protoss in the world, but you know, history doesn't lie. And, you know, obviously there are Protoss out there that can play straight up late game, like Hero, for example, or Puzzle, or JYP. There are many Protosses that can play top tier Protoss without doing this. But I think when you've got a player like this, it's just, what am I trying to say? Well, I'm trying to say that it is hard to play against them. That's the bottom line. And we'll see what happens here in Game 3. It is currently tied up at 1 apiece. And I am just so keen right now on seeing, you know, what's going to happen here on Planet S. We do have a probe that is trying to block that hatchery from coming up, but 2 drones are there. And, you know, just to make sure that that hatchery does come up, that is why you bring out a secondary drone. So nice job right there from Hyun, gets that hatchery down. That probe is taking a lot of damage, so it's going to have to wait a little bit for its shields to go ahead and recuperate. And I think it's vital here that Hyun gets his overlords in, find out what's going on inside the main Protoss space. The nice thing on Planet S is that initial overlord can travel over here very quickly before air units come out. And what you can do is hide this overlord back here in the right here in the top right hand corner, and then bring it in later on and see if there are any hidden buildings back here. So basically you can get a really good bird's eye view as to what the Protoss is doing, and I think when you're playing against Stardust, that's so important. So I do like how he's brought the overlord over there. Now look at this, Hyun has also sicked 2 of his Zerglings onto this probe just to make sure it dies. And that is also obviously very good. Make sure that the probe goes down so you can't have any issues with hidden Stargates or anything like that. Unless, of course, Stardust wants to bring another probe out, in which case you will need to keep, you know, tabs on those scouting probes. And that's why Hyun now is bringing his Zerglings over. In the meantime, we don't have, yes, we do have a gas for Hyun. So he is getting a little bit of Vespine going up right now for his gas count. And like I said before, I think in PvZ, when a Zerg gets gas, it can indicate an aggressive Zerg, but against an aggressive Protoss, it can also indicate that he just merely wants to stay on par with the Protoss upgrades, with the Protoss technology. If he deals with, you know, something like, I don't know, +2/+1 attack early on in the game. So that's very important. Couple of gateways now coming up for the front door of Stardust. Last time he did this, he was going for the Stargate attack on the outside of the main base of the Zerg. But this time we don't see any proxy pylons coming up. There are a couple of Zerglings that were able to leak in. Wow. And this is huge for Hyun. He is going to be able to get a full scout, but there is nothing really to see here. As really Stardust has not yet begun to throw down his technology. There is going to be a robotics facility coming up. And that is going to be it. I don't think that Hyun even got to saw the Robo Bay. Meanwhile, at the front door, Mothership Core is moving out and about. So really keeping an eye here on what Stardust is going to do here. What kind of buildings is he going to throw down? And as it stands right now, it seems like he is going to try to go for his more patented, I guess you could say, 3-base attack with +2/+1. Look for him to throw down an early Twilight Counselor to get those upgrades pumping. You can see here that Hyun just glanced by the front door to see what is out there, and he did not actually see all that many sentries. He only saw one, so right now he is throwing Spore Crawlers up just to be safe. And so we do have one Spore coming up at the natural. He's really checking right now to check for proxies. You can see Zerglings are just scattering all over the map. And he's like, wait, there's a mothership core here. I'm going to go check to see if there's any buildings back here. And so really just careful, methodical play from Quantic Hyun. He wants to make sure there's nothing crazy going on. And in fact, we do have that new Warp Prism coming out. I say new because they do move a little bit faster. They have a little bit more acceleration, so they're quick little buggers now. And so there is a Warp Prism coming, but meanwhile, it looks like Hyun is going to try to attack through the front door. He doesn't see that many units out here, so he's going to go for it. And this is a little bit of a problem for Stardust, although he is bringing out a couple more sentries, so I think he'll be okay. And now I think at this point, Hyun's got to be like, what the hell is going on? There aren't that many units at the front. There's got to be something tricky going on in the mind of Stardust. And so really what he's kind of put in a hard spot because he has to expand to a third. He can't stay on 2 bases forever, but at the same time, he's got to be really weary and cautious of some type of ground-based assault here, or even air. And in fact, it is going to be a Warp Prism that's making its way across the map right now. It looks like the Zergling is going to see the Warp Prism. Oh! Not sure if Hyun saw that. You can see Stardust try to jump back up, or try to run away and get over the cliff. I'm really not sure if Hyun was able to see that Warp Prism or not. Depends if he was looking at the same time as Stardust was moving across. Now, this is going to fly across an Overlord, so it doesn't matter anymore. But will Hyun be able to defend against this? He is now bringing all of his Zerglings back home, and I think he'll be just fine. That's the power of having Overlords in positions at the right time. And these sentries, I mean, they are going to not really do that much damage, I don't think. You can see that they zapped that hatchery for just a tad, and now there's a Spore Crawler back there, so this Warp Prism is pretty much... I don't think it's going to be able to get that much damage done, but here comes an attack from Stardust. Now, I don't see a +2/+1. I do see a couple more gateways being added on. This is not the build that I'm used to seeing from him. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gateways. 6, 7 are on the way. So yes, it is going to be an attack. And the only weird thing is he didn't get the early +2/+1, so I don't know. But he is, I think, going to be able to kill off this hatchery. I mean, this is a lot of firepower. Some sentries now, gonna have to use force fields to keep these Zerglings away. Very nice job, and Stardust now should focus that hatchery down. The hatchery is going to fall, and Hyun getting caught once again. Oh, terrible spot for Hyun. And now what is he going to do? The entire army getting recalled back home because some Zerglings were able to leak on into the main base. I did not catch that, but some Zerglings did get into the main base. How many probes did they kill? Only 6, so not a terrible loss, but more Zerglings are coming. The more important thing is Stardust was able to warp back home and save his main. Now he's got to save the natural. A lot of probes going down here. 13 workers have gone down already, but if Stardust can keep his Nexus alive, and I think he's got the upper hand, because remember, he did kill off that hatchery. It looks like he's going to try to keep the Zerglings at bay once again. Only 13 probes have gone down. More Zerglings leaking into the main, but they were easily and quickly dispatched of. And I do believe that Stardust is in a pretty good spot. He's got 98 supply over 78. He is really looking good here. And this is one of those times, once again, when I think he should be playing passively. He should go for a third Nexus and sit down and defend. And I don't know if I agree with him attacking here. Once again, this is a very risky play. It's highly volatile. But, you know, if he wins, he wins. That's the bottom line. All you want to get in StarCraft, and in anything in games in life, you want to win. So here Stardust is gonna go for it, but he doesn't realize there's a third hatchery over here. He's just gonna go for the front door, and oh, he gets chain fungled. Oh my god, there's a lot of infestors up here, and so the sentries are all going to die unless he can save them using the Warp Prism. Oh man, that was not good for him. Wasn't able to save his sentries, but nevertheless, he is going to go for this frontal assault. There are 22 more Zerglings on the way right here, but Stardust doesn't care. He just wants to end the game here and now. He doesn't want to take it to the mid game. He doesn't want to take it to the late game. He wants to get the W now, and it looks like I think he might be able to do it if he can kill off this hatchery. What a huge setback for Hyun, and that hatchery is going to go down. And Stardust, I mean, now he's killed off a lot of bases. There are a ton of burrowed Zerglings underground, but at the end of the day, I don't think it matters. how many Zerglings Stardust Hyun has, because there's just too many Zealots here, too many reinforcements arriving through the Warp Prism, and Quantic Hyun has to GG. Game 3 going to Stardust, and momentum now starting to certainly shift here. So Stardust is up 2-1 in this set. We're going to go right into Game 4. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this is HD signing out.